Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another weekly overview. This week, we have a couple of important stocks I want to go over, but mainly we'll be going over Nvidia, Tesla, and Amazon. Now, this is actually my second weekly overview that I've done. Last week we did our first ever weekly overview. I want you guys to know how you guys think of these, if I should keep doing more of these. But today we're going to be going over what stocks to watch out for this week, as well as the plays we made in last week. Especially with Amazon, I paid close attention to Amazon. I think Amazon is a very, very undervalued stock right now. Anyways, if you guys have any other stocks you guys want me to watch out for or look over for this live stream, please feel free to put them down in the chat below. I'm also going to be starting a Q&A for the entire chat. Also, if you want to join my community, I will send you the link if you DM me on Instagram. All right. But overall, we have a pretty bullish market. In the beginning of the week, Nvidia went all the way up to $185 and then had a slight pullback back to 175 before consolidating around the 177 area towards the end of Friday. All right, so with that being said, let's move on to the slides. All right, so first of all, I gotta give a disclaimer. I do this for every stream. I'm not a financial advisor. All trading involves risk. Investing involves risks. My positions are typically held for weeks, months, or even years. And also, please do your own research and due diligence before making any financial decisions or consult a financial advisor. All right, with that being said, let's move on. So let's go over the brief market overview. So the big headlines this week came from Jerome Powell. He stated that many assets and stocks look relatively overvalued, and that was a very, very different tone from last week's optimism after the Fed's 25 basis point cut. As you see, after the 25 basis point cut, markets rallied a little bit, but this week he came out and said that assets and stocks look relatively overvalued, and as a result, the market had a slight pullback. And here's what he means by this: the Fed isn't just looking to stabilize jobs and inflation. They're now openly flagging asset prices as also a concern. And if the valuation remains this stretched, the Fed may also hesitate to ease further or at least move more cautiously. And for us, this means that we should expect a lot of volatility in the coming weeks, especially in sectors like tech, the semiconductors, which are most sensitive to these kind of valuations risks. And while the overall market momentum and sentiment still appears to be bullish, but Jerome Powell's comments alone has served as a reminder that we might need a little bit of a pullback or cool off before going even higher. All right. So with that being said, let's move on to the first stock we want to talk about is Tesla. All right. Not Tesla, Amazon. All right, let's talk about Amazon first. So Amazon is a play that I decided to buy a couple of long calls on expiry in November. Because I think Amazon is just too big of a company to fail. First of all, it's been one of the weakest names in the Max 7 stocks this year. It's only up about 1%, but sometimes the laggard becomes the opportunity. Okay, it's been the bottleneck for the entire Max 7 and the entire tech bottleneck. So with the fundamentals, let's look at the fundamentals. Amazon Web Service growth is still accelerating, and the advertising continues to scale into multi-billion-dollar revenue streams, and retail sales still remain resilient even with consumer headwinds. So even with all this good news, there is no other second bigger competitor that can compete against Amazon. eBay, ST, Alibaba, none of that. Amazon is the Goliath of the e-commerce industry, and it has been for almost a decade. Okay, so those are the fundamentals we want to go over for Amazon. Amazon is still a very, very strong name brand and recognition in that space. So with that being said, let's take a look at the technical analysis. All right, so looking at the technicals for Amazon, let's pull up the Amazon charts. It looks like we have a slight bearish indication. Looking at the Ripster clouds, it looks like we're trending a little bit bearish. I bought the Amazon calls around the $222 area, and after that it dropped even further all the way down to $216, which I bought some puts to hedge against the drop. And so with that being said, the chart shows a signs of starting from right here, signs of lower highs, and now we're just starting to recover a little bit into when Friday started. We're just starting to recover a little bit. So, but the price is still under a key resistance zone, and volume suggests that sellers maybe still are still more active than the buyers. And once it clears that, the potential breakout could be strong, and that's why this next 2 weeks is crucial for Amazon, because we're at a key resistance area where it could dictate where the stock goes for the rest of the year. It could either rally all the way back up or continue to trade sideways or even downwards. So I took a huge bet on Amazon. I bet that it's going to continue to break through the resistance and make its way all the way back, potentially near towards the all-time highs. I did do a earnings play back in I think back in August when they had their earnings report, and as soon as they had their earnings report, it absolutely tanked. Well, I cashed out the day after the earnings report, and I made my money from Amazon, and now it's back to the lows, and I'm looking to ride the wave all the way back up again. So I view Amazon as a stock that is bullish, and that's a good base we can build, and with patience, we can accumulate right now. It could pay off when it clears this key resistance zone. All right, so next stock. This is going to be a pretty short overview today. This is going to be a pretty short overview. So with the next stock we're going to be going over is no other than the largest market cap, the biggest, most successful company in the world, NVIDIA. If you guys didn't know, I am a huge bull on NVIDIA. I just added a couple more calls when it had to pull back to the 175 zone. So this week, NVIDIA also announced a partnership with OpenAI, alongside their announcement the investment with Intel. Okay, the $5 billion partnership with Intel already reinforces their dominance in the AI infrastructure. So the thing with NVIDIA and OpenAI, and also Oracle is also in that triangular exchange too. So NVIDIA, I think, is going to continue to be the Goliath in the semiconductor factory. AMD, we talked about AMD last week. I think AMD still has some room to go, but I don't think it's going to catch up to NVIDIA anytime soon or in the near future. Okay, because of that, also the GPU demand still continues to exceed supply. And also NVIDIA is also building a moat across the hardware, software in partnership. All right, so with that being said, let's take a look at the technical indicators for NVIDIA this week. All right, looking at the technicals, it looks like the stock, after the announcement with the Intel partnership, it had it all the way spike up to 185. We talked about this last week, and now this week it's been trending down. It looks like it's been selling off of that hype for the Intel partnership, and now we are testing the Ripster clouds at around the 177 zone, and I just decided to dollar cost average my calls down a little bit, all the way down to 175, all the way down to 175 area, and now we're testing this key resistance zone in the Ripster cloud. And depending on what direction, same thing with Amazon, the next 2 weeks could dictate whether Nvidia is going to be trading sideways for the rest of the month, or it was going to break through the 182, which is a key resistance zone, and make its way to 185, potentially to the 190s to 200 zone. All right, so it looks like the buyers are if we look at every single dip Nvidia has pulled back on, every single dip has been bought back. Okay, even like ever since April, ever since April with the tariff pause on Trump, every single Nvidia dip has been bought back. If we look at the earlier this month, let's take a look at earlier this month when everything tanked around the beginning of September. Let's see. It only took around 2-3 days for it to recover back to the 170 high 177 zone, and then it had another pullback to 173 on September 15, and immediately recovered. Next 2 days had consecutive red days, and immediately recovered. And every single dip, every single pullback has had an immediate recovery. That just shows how bullish the market's sentiment is right now. And for those reasons, I'm also bullish on Nvidia. So it looks like the buyers are stepping in at every single dip. The MACD also, if we look at the daily chart, the MACD is also crossing. And which shows a bullish momentum towards the upside. All right. As long as Nvidia holds this uptrend, which means every single pullback and dip is being bought back, it will remain the market's. It will remain the behemoth for the semiconductor industry. And when Nvidia is basically like carrying the entire S&P and the QQQ for a very long time now. And Nvidia runs, I can see the rest of the tech industry also running as well. The rest of the Max 7 stocks. Okay, so let's move on to the next stock we are going to be paying close attention to this week, and that is going to be Tesla. Now, Tesla, let's look at the fundamentals this year. The stock has been trending higher since mid-September. Okay, we talked about the Elon Musk potentially $1 trillion pay package, and the $1 trillion pay package that is that is pending on shareholders approval in November. I'm planning on voting in the shareholder meeting. Also, Musk also revealed that he bought $1 billion in shares of Tesla, and this week also marks the last week of the EV credit, which is huge because if you guys don't know what EV credit is, Tesla provides you $7,500 of credit if you purchase an electric vehicle like the Model Y or the Model 3. I don't think it applies for the Model X or the new model. But this week, ever since Trump and Elon got some, this week is the last week that the EV credit is going to be available to us consumers. So that is a huge selling point that Tesla has. That could potentially hinder its sales in the future. And that's also an incentive that Tesla pretty much gives out to drive their sales right now. Okay. So with that being said, so Tesla is also pushing. Elon Musk is seeing like Tesla as this holy grail. He's trying to invent the wheel with the Optimus robots that are coming out. So Tesla isn't just the automobile industry. It's going to be a complete entire industry, like Tesla bots, Tesla trucks, Tesla cabs. It's not going to be just Tesla cars. It's going to be an entire big industry. Okay, and Tesla is pushing beyond EVs into energy storage and AI, and the competition in the EV space is fierce, and margins still remain under pressure. But Tesla, let's look at the technicals right now. Let's look at the technicals. So looking at the technicals, the stock has been trending higher since mid-September. It's been respecting the 9-day EMA as support. If we look at around mid-September, we talked about it. I talked about this briefly. It's gonna break over the $400. It had a slight fake out around the 340 area. A lot of people got faked out right here for the breakout, and this massive breakout. Was huge, massive breakout from resistance area. It's keep trending higher all the way up to the $140 area. It has slight pullback. As you can see, every single pullback was bought back. That just shows you how bullish the market sentiment is right now. From 149 all the way down to 449 all the way down to 420, 22 all the way down to 415, and the next day it climbed all the way back up to 445. Okay, I do see it is also 10% away from its all-time highs of the $480 zone. Of the $488 zone. We are also reaching a key resistance area around the 450 area. If this can break 450, this can easily go up to 460 and potentially breaking all-time highs into the 480s area. Okay, so there's room towards the $460 zone. This is such an important resistance. It is why the next week and two is going to be key for this stock. If you can break the resistance zone. And looking at the momentum indicators like the MACD on the 1 hour and daily, it shows a positive upward trending momentum. It's trading above the Ripster clouds. The MACD is crossed. It looks like buyers have a pretty good momentum to break through this $450 area in the next coming week. Now, if we do see that the buyers start to lose their momentum and sell off, we need to we need to be cautious here, because potentially there could be a huge pullback. If the buyers lose their momentum here, there could be a pretty big pullback. Because every Tesla is such a volatile stock that one pullback could be like $20 to $30. $20 to $30. Okay, so Tesla looks pretty bullish in the near term, but we also need to watch out whether that momentum holds or if it tests even higher levels for now. All right, so that being said, that should be pretty much it today. Let me see if you guys have any other stocks you guys want me to look at. Let's see. Let's take a look here. Okay, looks like no one. Okay, so no one asked me answer. All right, cool guys. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comment section or DM me on Instagram. But like I said, as always, so the bull market debate. Okay, so the tech leadership remains strong. The Feds are easing up a little bit. Okay, the tech leadership. So are we actually heading into a bull market, or are we having a pullback? I think we're gonna have a slight pullback in the next month. A slight pullback before further rallying up, but the sentiment is improving as money flows back into the equities. But the bear case, like I talked about earlier this stream, Powell said earlier this week as a warning that on valuations, that stocks and assets remain relatively high, and to proceed with caution. And he warned us that stock prices are relatively high, which I think is pretty reasonable looking at the current market. Like, we're literally at all-time highs, and our P ratio is towards .com bubble levels, but certain sectors like real estate can still remain weak. But my take is we will still have a slight pullback before further rally up, because every single dip has been bought back. Okay, but that's healthy, because all bullish markets need slight pullback. It can't just be going straight up. That's not a healthy market, and a lot of people can get cooked in that scenario if they don't get ready. Okay, all right. So with that being said, let's let's make our closing statement right here. Thank you all so much for joining the live stream. If you want to follow me for weekly updates on long-term trading and investment strategy, and I also make personal finance videos as well. Okay, so I'll be posting my the stocks I'm planning on paying attention to and trading for the upcoming week in the description below, and also on my IG group chat as well. If you want to join my community, DM me on IG or DM me shoot me an email. I'll add you to the group chat. It's completely free. There's no cost to it. All I ask is that you contribute to the group and actually be engaging in the group discussions. And if you guys have any more questions for me, shoot me a DM on Instagram or shoot me an email. All right. See you guys and take care and trade safe and